We know this, we're not broken, we're simply in the wrong structure. So we'll come into that further on down the slideshow of the presentation, but we are not broken. Society in the world, government, schooling system, everything teaches us that we may be broken and we need to fix ourselves. So today I'm going to explain to you how that is just the wrong structure, and by getting in the right structure, we can recreate anything that we choose. So it's also obviously to remove unwanted feelings and emotions that don't serve you. My goal is to show you by removing resistance with the superconscious RECODE and working from the right structure, you can become a powerful superconscious and create a life that you love in any of its truest form. In today's session, if you want to become a 6 or 7 figure influencer, impact millions and do what you love, or maybe you just want better health, more energy, more relationships, more loves with our friends and family, more wealth, less debt, less comfort and frustration, whatever it may be for you, freedom. This is the process I'm going to show you, and you'll be able to get a bit of understanding. Hi, Kerry's just joining us again. I appreciate you, and here, what I will guarantee today is I will not waste your time. I'll give you actionable steps if you choose it, and I'll offer you the next step with me if you'd like to go forward in basically a masterclass or one-on-one coaching if you choose it. I'll stay around to answer your questions for as long as you want to, and I'm so grateful for you that here. I'm just so grateful for those of you that turned up. We had just under 30 people registered, so that's pretty cool. So yes, it's been a real journey of mine. I've been doing a couple of previous events in the past, but this is one with a new format, which really excites me because it's all about creating new things. How to get the most out of this training is to turn your phone off unless you're on it, of course. Be present, take loads of notes, take action, and ask questions at the end and play full out. It's a very, very powerful process. This new modality has been around for a couple of years. It's all very, very new. It's based on 20 to 30 years of neuroscience, and it's very, very powerful. Number one, what we will cover today, education on how our consciousness works, structure and why success is not personal, how the superconscious rapid RECODE works to remove resistance and beliefs that don't serve you. Because of this program, I've been lucky enough to create my own coaching company, build a successful global business, feature in podcasts and live events, become one of 500 certified coaches teaching this method, and live a life of freedom, doing what matters the most, doing my true purpose, which is exactly this work. But it wasn't always like this. As you can imagine, a dream. Basically, that picture in the middle there is doing a live event here in Motueka at the top of South Island, and here's my beautiful family, wife Kirsten, who's fully supportive and on the call today as well. And a picture of me doing some recording, doing some podcasts and recording some of my meditations, which is very, very powerful. But it wasn't always this way. In 2021, I was a husband and father who was losing interest in the personal development world. I'd lost pretty much interest in all businesses by that state, because as I was creating successful businesses and I was selling them, or getting out of them, or whatever it may be, I struggled in my own skin to create more and actually find my true purpose. And I always wanted to be a coach. I always wanted to be able to go online and do videos and share content and really help others to remove sabotaging belief that was in the way, which I had a pretty massive one. I had a couple of them. One was very, very strong, which we'll get to. And it really, really stopped me, everything creating what I loved in the world. And I really wanted to be able to help others to be able to remove that so they can have more love, more success, more money, more whatever they choose, relationships, etc. I felt like I wanted more of life, but I was stuck in my own skin. I was trying to make it work. I created my own healing and transformation program. Just another one coming in. Good to have you, Jerry. I created my own healing and transformation program, and I was getting great success with it. But the problem was that, one, the clients had to talk about the issues, and two, when I was clearing all the energy off their past memories that didn't serve them, a lot of it I was taking on myself, and then I had to do ways to clear that, etc., through pranic healing and that. And it was very, very powerful because I was getting the results, but for me, it wasn't so powerful because I was having to take it all on, and I don't really need to hear about what's happened in the past, because we don't need to talk about it, because it just gives it more energy. So I studied and learned many modalities. I kept searching and looking at many programs and courses, enrolled in different coaching programs, seminars, and 10 of my own personal development events and several others. Then everything changed. I came across an advert on Facebook by a man by the name of Chris Duncan. Now, Chris Duncan is an awesome guy. He lives in the Gold Coast. He's actually from New Zealand, just north of Wellington. I attended his online event, and this one, from that moment, I knew I'd found the secret, the magic, the missing piece for manifestation and transformation that I had been missing in all my work and all my life as Superconscious RECODE. I simply went through the process of this RECODE, and within that session, within that hour of going through, learning about it and doing the RECODE on the event, I've come to the realization that I had this massive sabotaging belief and was able to remove it, and it completely changed my life. It was so powerful. It got me straight into certification, which happened next. I spent over 20,000, completed a 6-month study to become one of 500 certified coaches. I think there's more certified coaches out there now teaching this one-of-a-kind process. Then I started my own coaching company. Transform Your Life Within, Transform You Limited was created. I launched my website, which is pretty cool, pretty powerful. Put my own content, my name out there, and actually really focus on being able to take this work to serve others. Hosted my first live event, as I mentioned early on there. There's Duncan and Tama. Created my own programs, which is also pretty cool. And I'm still doing that, now, still fine tuning it, and it's been very exciting. I'm trying to get this picture right here. Very exciting to actually create my own programs, actually put the content from everything that I've learned from all the different modalities, and obviously a very strong foothold of Chris's training. So here have been some of the results. Charlie from Auckland, Greg has got me to a better place in life. It was like being born into a new life. There is much more positivity and happiness in my life. Greg helped me let go of myself and beliefs and almost constant anxiety. He's very grateful to have Greg in my life. Now, Charlie suffered heart palpitations every hour, every day, ever since he was a child, and we were able to remove that, which was pretty powerful. So he no longer has heart palpitations, anxiety. He's actually out there creating, loving life, and very lovely guy to be around, very placid and just totally relaxed. And we got the lovely Renee from Australia. Had a beautiful session with her. I was able to unblock her throat chakra, which was stopping her being able to talk and speak and be in front of people, which was pretty powerful. Once we cleared that, unblocked it, she actually went and did a live, which is the first thing she's ever done, which is so powerful. I love her for that. As she says there, I used to hide from the public eye, and now I love doing videos and serving others. Just do it because you love it. Thank you, Greg, and that's great to hear, Renee. Now, like Dean here, we've got Dean Adams from Australia working with Chris Duncan. Now, Dean managed to get his eyesight back. He was blind for 20 years and lost over 82 kilos by working with the Superconscious. So it's very powerful. I think there's been about 3 people now that have been blind that have got their eyesight back, which is pretty powerful. And the big thing about this work, guys, is we don't step into working out why we're blind or why we have problems or what the resistance is. We simply focus on what we want to create, and then consciously we can create it. Also, Patrick's from the States there. But with Chris, he was able to run for the first time in 9 years after a car accident. So that's pretty much a little bit about me and my journey of becoming here, and what really helped and guide me to create a life that I love and actually have more of it. And once the beautiful thing is about, once we're in this work, once we actually step into it, it's very powerful. It's very fun, and the results are instant. When we do these sessions, and you'll get to experience this RECODE shortly, we don't have to spend weeks and months and years going over different modalities to try and figure out what the problem is, think that we're broken, and then try and fix ourselves, because it's just not true. It's all about being in the right structure. And I'm going to show you what I mean by structure. If we have our current reality, which is here now, and say, for example, we're wanting more, so we want more in life, that means right now it must be less. So if we're wanting more in our desired reality, then it's more. Now, the key thing with this is when we're in our current reality and we're going for our desired reality, this is when we have the resistance that'll pop up in your field. Not good enough. There's 6 sabotaging beliefs that I'll come to shortly. Might be not good enough, don't belong, the fear of success. Might be fear of success. It could be the fear of failure. You know, what if I get it right? What if I actually get it right or get it wrong? You know, there's so many fears that we live in, so many negative visions, victim mentalities, etc., overthinking, and they're all current reality. They're all pulling us back from creating a life that we love. So when we get into this beautiful world of living a life that we love, We say, for example, we might want more love, we might want more money, we might want more relationships. Whatever it is for you, it doesn't really matter. It's about stepping into that and creating it. Now, as soon as we're going for what we actually want, what we truly want that we don't have now, we want more of it, or we want to start creating it. This is when the current identity will pop up and put resistance in your field in the way. Now, it's actually doing it because the resistance is feelings and emotions of past memories. And it's actually doing it to stop you going over here into this new way of being a desired reality. Because if you do, you're going to have to create a whole new identity. Your whole new identity is you. Your identity is your beliefs, your values, everything that you believe in. So by creating this new identity, this old identity knows it's got to die. And identities do not like dying. So it's going to put up all the resistance that it possibly can to pull you back so you don't go into this new desired reality and create this new identity. Now, all the emotions and feelings in this resistance on the memories is actually identities actually thinks it's doing the right thing by you by putting this resistance in there. Oh, just do that tomorrow. Oh no, just do that next week. Oh no, smoking's okay. We've been doing it for a whole 12 months and we haven't died, or 20 years. So just keep doing it because I don't know what it's like not to have these things. So the identity puts up the resistance in your field, makes it harder, anxiety, sweats, pressure, doubt, whatever, worry, to stop you creating this new identity. Now, what we do in this work is we simply step into this desired reality, and we do it with our eyes closed. And the reason being is that it stops us putting in 20 million bits of points of information energetically into our eyes, taking it in. But the other beautiful thing is when our eyes are closed, our unconscious believes it to be true. When it believes it to be true, that's when it puts all the resistance up in the field. And that's when you give me permission to step into your superconscious. And I'm able to ask your superconscious to go into your unconscious and remove what's in the way. Now, when we do this process, it's completely natural. And it's basically, we're only removing emotions and feelings off memories. We're not removing the memory. The memory stays the same. The memory actually becomes wisdom after we've done the process, which is pretty cool. So when we have our current identity, we might have, like I said here, we might have frustration. You know, the feeling over here could make us feel have worry, whatever it may be. It doesn't really matter. It's all just resistance because this old identity, as I said, does not want to die. So what happens is when we're in the structure of being stuck, we want to be in the structure of flowing. And in the middle here, we have isolating. When we're in our current structure, our current identity, when we start going for what we want, the resistance comes up in our field. Our identity pulls us back. So it pulls us back down here. And then we think, oh, we might have to go do some therapy. We might go do another program. Whatever it is for you, it doesn't really matter. It's all pulling us down because it thinks it's trying to educate us that we're broken and we need to fix ourselves. You are not broken. You're simply in the wrong structure. When we're in the structure, we're simply thinking that we're broken and trying to go down to resolve. We're trying to go down to fix, and we don't need to. There's nothing wrong with us. We're just not in the structure of flowing. Now, what happens is when we're going for the flowing, resistance pulls us down. Sure, might put it on hold. I'll do that website next week. I'll go and do this program. I'll go and see an acupuncture, whatever it may be. And I'm not hassling any other modalities in any other form because there's some beautiful, kind-hearted people out there. It's just simply, if you're in, well, I'll just let someone else in the waiting room here. If you are in the wrong structure, then you simply cannot create this. So as we're going for this beautiful structure in here, as we're going for it and it pulls us down, we do some therapy, we have some wins, we have some gains, we might even read a book about how the conscious works and things we get some wins out of it, some improvements. So then we come up here and we go for it again with this new information, this new conscious thoughts, or some shifts in our unconscious through hypnosis or whichever. And then we go for it again, but then once again, the old resistance pops up and simply pulls us back down again. The old identity says, oh, no, do that next week, do that next month. Oh, you're not good enough. You need to go work on yourself. You're not capable. You don't belong there, etc. Whatever it may be. So when we get pulled down to this current identity, we come back up here. We're simply going round and round. So what are we doing? And throw it in the chat. What are we doing when we're in the structure? We're in our current reality. We're going for what we want. We're getting pulled down here. We're doing some more work on trying to fix ourselves. We come back up here. We've had some wins, and then we're going for it again. Isolating. That's right. We're isolating, but we're not creating. We're not creating what is it we love. And this is so important. We can spend a whole lifetime trying to resolve or fix ourselves by stuck isolating. Oh yeah, I've got my website finished, but it was too hard for me to get a client. I'll go and study how to get a client because I have a belief that I'm not capable. I've got my first client. I'm starting to have some success. I've got my first 5 clients. Oh, I'm finished with them now, whatever it may be, and I might go back to being stuck. I can't get more new clients. I've got a new client, can't we? And then we're isolating, we're swinging between flowing and stuck. And this work, we step into flowing, like a meets with our eyes closed. We simply step into it, into being it before we see it, into that true desired reality, remove the resistance and take action. And that's the big difference. We don't leave this identity in any way or form to take over and give us resistance. We simply step into here, see the resistance and remove it. Now these identities at this current structure here are not equal. What we basically do is when we're in a desired reality, it becomes one, we move resistance, and then we have this new identity, which is having exactly what we love, exactly what we want, relationships, money, family, etc. So in our desired reality, what gets in the way? I'll just share my screen again with some beautiful slides. Thank you to my lovely wife for helping me make these. Oh, what's going on there? Let's see. So resistance that we have in our way, there's 6 main sabotaging beliefs. Now, the big one that I had was I don't belong. Don't belong is a sabotaging belief. It normally comes in from a childhood, from being moved around a lot as a kid, or not being sort of, I guess you would say, acceptance in anywhere. Don't belong here, I don't belong there. And when we put these sabotaging beliefs up, they're very, very powerful. I mean, my sabotaging belief with don't belong was the biggest. It was like 80% of all my beliefs. It was really powerful. And even in the past, you know, like one of the side effects you could say of having the don't belong is you go out and create multiple businesses. You go out and you businesses, and Malcolm will probably be aware of this because he's known me in the past years with some success in the hospitality industry. But what basically happened is I'd go and create these businesses so that I could basically step into them to have the sense and feeling that I belonged. And then I'd be in the situation feeling like I belong, and I'd get anxious, I'd get the sweats, I'd feel uncomfortable. Now, I thought everybody experienced this. I thought this was completely normal. I didn't realize that that was actually a sabotaging belief, and it was called don't belong, and I was experiencing. I just thought everybody experienced that, and the only way around it is to basically put up with it, push through it, take it with you to your success. And that's what I was doing. I was taking that sabotaging belief into my desired reality. I'd be in there, and eventually it would pull me back and put me back into my current reality of being stuck because I couldn't go doing more. I'd end up putting managers in all these businesses and not having full control myself, being able to support and make sure the business was profitable, etc. I'd create the businesses, put a manager in there, and then move on the next thing to try and get the feeling of don't belong by stepping into it. So here's your 6 main sabotaging beliefs. Not good enough, which is very, very common. I had a little bit of that as well, but the big one was don't belong. I'm not worthy. So you may be always going out there to do worthy things to make you feel like you belong in the world. Not good enough is you'll be taking a whole lot of action around everything that you do to give yourself a sabotaging belief that you are actually good enough. Don't belong, to create lots of communities and businesses and organizations where you can actually step into it. Not perfect, everything's got to be perfect. Normally don't have a big vision because you're simply trying to make everything around you perfect and you're not actually creating. Not capable. Not capable there. Just move this picture out of the way. Not capable. Always doing lots of programs, courses. You might have brought some programs, open it up, done the first week, and then just stop because you've got the underlying belief that you're not capable, but you brought them to be capable because you want to be capable, you want to learn everything. And then insignificant, obviously, normally go for big status, lawyers, accountants, because you want to feel significant in the world, but deep down underneath you feel like you're insignificant. So when we look at these 6 sabotaging beliefs, and there is other ones, but just working on these 6 for now, we work along all the other bits and pieces in the masterclass, the one-on-one, but I don't want to overwhelm everybody today. We'll keep to basics. When we're focusing on these 6 sabotaging beliefs, we're actually doing our outcome based around these, which is a negative vision. We need to be doing everything we do it just because we love it. When we do just what we love and we remove the resistance and take action, we can have anything that we choose. And that's the difference. Rather than focusing on what's in the way and creating everything around it, we focus on what we love. We take the action, we build it, we create it, we step into it, and then we can have more of it. And the beautiful thing about it is when we're doing that, the conscious in our field, the energy in our field in the universe puts everything in front of us that we need to create. And we know this is true because everything that you have now, you've created it. And everything that you don't have is because you haven't created it yet. And that's so powerful. All you have to do is take action, step into the new ways of being, and take that beautiful action. Now, when we start doing this work, to start off with, we have 4 orientational choices. Choose a life I love, to live a life I love. Health and vitality, which we obviously need health and vitality to be able to take action and have a beautiful life. True nature and purpose, which is really powerful. I choose my true nature and purpose. What is your Dharma? Why are you here? What is the one thing that you're here for that you truly want to create? We all have one massive thing that we're put on this planet for, to create. And in this beautiful work here, we're actually able to, if you don't know what it is, we're actually able to step into it through the masterclass, through the meditations and the recorded content, and actually get that out of you. And once you start getting out of you, it's very simple to actually start taking the action to create it. And that's exactly what I did with this. 2 years ago, a lot of my life, I've always wanted to be a coach, you know, help educate people, but I could never do it because I always knew I don't belong. So every time I went to go and get in front of a camera or do a recording or do a live or do, you know, basically this, I'd get anxious, I'd get the sweats because my sabotaging beliefs saying, oh, you don't belong here. What if people judge you? What if you're judged by others? Because I don't like, I've never judged anybody. It's not in my nature because of that sabotaging belief. But also the big fear is that people judge me. And if you've got that getting judged by others, it could be that you have part or some of that sabotaging belief. The 6 there, we can have a little bit of all of them or a couple of them really strong. So I choose to be a predominant creative force, and that's just taking action because you love it. Whatever you choose to do, just do it because you love it. And there's a beautiful thing around it, you know, as most of us quite possibly are parents here. And if those that aren't yet, that's beautiful. But for those that are parents, sometimes we like to go out and do things and create things to create an income or create money or create an environment that we're able to one day pass on to our kids, or to make it sure that our children can have it all, can have the house or the money or the education. And it's simply a negative vision. And the reason being for that is when we're focused on doing that for our children, and not just because we love it, it's a very, very hard creation. You'll always get a lot of resistance and you'll always be struggling with it because you're doing it for someone else and not for yourself. So in this work, when you're actually doing it just because you love it and you focus on your big creations for just for you and only for you, of course your children are going to benefit, and they're actually going to benefit more because you're going to create more. So it's so powerful when we look at it that way. Just do what you love just because you love it. So we have the journey to superconscious living. So basically, in a nutshell, when we're actually created, you know, mum and dad come together with the sperm and the egg, and at that very second, that beautiful creation of energy creates us. But we're such a small dot. We're so small, obviously, that you can't see it unless you're under a magnifying glass. It's just so small. It's just so powerful. But in the first 4 weeks, our superconscious creates us into a fetus, into enough of a little tiny little bubby that the actual, on the 4th week, the spirit can come in, and then we have an unconscious. Until then, it's just a superconscious creating us, building us, internal lungs, skin, organs, getting everything ready so that when the spirit comes in 4 weeks, the heart starts beating. And science proves all this. So it's pretty powerful to know that superconscious creates us in the first weeks with our DNA from our parents, our past, our memories, our traits, our looks, our skin color, everything about us. And that's the superconscious doing its beautiful thing in the first 4 weeks. And it's superconscious there all the way to the end until we transition and go back to wherever you'd like to call it, heaven, the universe, source, whatever it means to you. So once our unconscious comes, spirit comes in, the unconscious is created in the 4th week. Our unconscious, number one journey is survival. So it's there as a pure creative spirit once we're born to keep us safe, to keep things the same. And it's all about feeling. How do you feel about life? It's all about survival. Whereas our conscious, which doesn't start to about the age of 5 to 7, is all about thought. It's all about thinking. It's all about the experience of wanting to have an exciting life. Your superconscious is all about having the quality of life, all the information that you need to make sure that you have the best journey possible. So a quick way I like to explain it is, say, for example, we want to go climb a tree. We'll have our conscious that's like, right, let's go climb the tree. So to start climbing the tree, you'll get up quite, halfway up the tree or whichever, looking down at the ground going, oh, that's starting to get quite high. That's when your unconscious will pop in and go, whoa, stop. What if you fall, you could die? Now, when you fall, obviously, and you die, then the unconscious hasn't done its job properly by keeping you alive, because it's all about survival. So when we get halfway up that tree, now our conscious and our unconscious aren't getting along. And that's what we can experience. We're going for what we love. Our unconscious jumps up and gets in the way and creates resistance. Same thing as what I was talking about here. Our superconscious in that example is the field of information around that process. What tree do we climb? What's the best tree to climb? When do we climb the tree? Make sure you climb the tree with the best view. Make sure you climb the safest tree. Make sure you do it when it's not raining. All that information that we need to climb the best tree is your superconscious. So that's the three when they work together. So when you're basically born after 9 months, you're a pure creative spirit. You have it all. And that's just beautiful, because you're actually, when you're inside mum's tummy, you think then you have it all, because you get the food, you go to the toilet when you want to, it's warm, you can hear mum's voice. And you can really have the understanding and thought from an unconscious point of view that that's actually life, until you're actually born and you go through the pain of actually being born and you think, wow, what is this? You're born as a baby, but you're a pure creative spirit. You have it all. It's so, so beautiful to know that as a baby. And if you put, like 10 babies, 6-month-old babies on the couch and said to them, oh, if you want to learn about love, it's this way. If you want to learn about this, it's that and whatnot, and let's fix this resistance. It'll be like, what? I'm perfect. I'm a baby. I've got everything to give. So we know most resistance, apart from passed down family resistance, most of the resistance and limitations, everything that we put on ourselves as a child that don't serve us later in life, all come from our life experiences, from our family environment, schooling environment, friends environment, church environment, whatever it may be. It all comes from our environment. Now, the resistance that's put in the way, or the feeling emotions on past memories, it's put in there as a child when we're younger, can suit us as a child. And if, for example, a dog might run up and bite us almost through the neighbour's fence, or jump and knock us over or whatever. So we might put a fear up that dogs are bad, which is okay, which is fine when we're younger, because we'll stay away from angry, loud dogs in case we get bitten. But when we're older, we want to have a dog, or our partner wants to have a dog, or whichever, want to work with dogs, we'll have a lot of resistance to that old memory. Now, we can push through it and have that experience in the end nice with dogs, but the resistance will always be there a little bit. And that's because we have emotion and feelings attached to that old memory. The superconscious and the RECODE, we simply remove that resistance. So then you have wisdom for dogs. You know which dog's a happy dog, a sad dog, and then you're not bothered by it anymore. So we become an individual with limited perspective, orientate the world through this limitation. And that could even be, as a 6-year-old, for those that watched my education video, the 6-year-old goes up on the Monday on school after the holidays and whatnot to show the whole class what she did with the parents on holiday. All the kids in the class did the same thing. This child goes up there, and as she's walking up there, she trips and falls over, and the whole class laughs at her. Now, they're not laughing at her as a person, as a child. They're laughing at her because it was funny she fell over. It would have looked funny. But she'll put up a belief that public speaking is bad. Don't go there, don't do it. So that might, as a child, will stop her from getting in front of the class, and that might help her in some way, serve her, because she's not going through the feeling of doing it again and getting the pain. But when she wants to sell a product or get on stage as a 25-year-old, and she's got massive fear of public speaking, it won't serve her. So once again, that superconscious put that resistance there as a 6-year-old through the unconscious, put it up there to say, well, don't ever do that again, it's painful. But as a 20-year-old, we can simply use the superconscious to go back in there and remove it. So it's very, very powerful. So what we're basically doing in this work, we are connecting to your superconscious, decide to become a creator and live the four core choices, which is what I just explained in the last slide. And we say, right, we're going to step into being a desired reality. This is my flowing a step into it. And then we do the recodes, the other processes. There's over 10 of them in the masterclass that we go through. And we actually go through all these processes to remove all that resistance, which is very, very cool. So we basically recode instructions, we get into the end result, desired reality, and then we look at the resistance and we get your superconscious to remove it. So yeah, so recode all the instructions causing resistance. What I just would mention, use your superconscious insight to make true choices that you love. So just choosing because I love it, and I have my true choices up here, which is a list of everything that I want to create. So number one up the top there, I've got choose the end result of a very successful masterclass. Probably can't see that because the camera's on small. But that's my true choices. And we recode all the resistance to follow through and take action and become a superconscious, live your truth, have it all now and create more of what you love, which is so powerful because we then become our pure creative spirit again. When you're doing what you love and you've removed all the resistance and you're creating and taking action, it's a beautiful feeling. It's like being that baby again, just being born and looking at the world and knowing anything's a possibility. So that's pretty cool. So to the 5 steps to create your desire of anything that you choose, your desired reality, is first you have to choose a true goal. And you're going to be doing with me now, and I want you to start thinking about something in your desired reality that you want to create. We're going to step into it shortly. And we're going to step into the feeling and emotion around that. We're going to look at what it's like now. We're going to create the structural tension between the two, which is like if we had a rubber band and we're pulling it between. We're going to unplug and recode. And then after the recode, you must take aligned action. Whatever comes up in the process about taking action, you must follow through. Because if you don't, then it's teaching your unconscious that you don't honestly want it. So it's really, really important that you follow through on taking the action. Well, so I'll just stop sharing there. Do we have any questions before we start the recode? Any questions? Oh, I'll just check the chat. Have we look? Oh, yes. Hey, thanks, Malcolm. It's yeah. One thing actually I should have mentioned too that if you want to, when you put your messages in the chat, just put it to everybody because everybody's direct messaging me. So I'm sure that you won't mind me mentioning it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is amazing work, and it's absolutely changed my life, and it's really, really powerful to know that only 18 months, 2 years ago, I simply couldn't create anything that I really loved because of the sabotaging belief around don't belonging. And a little bit my story with my mum and dad, I had a beautiful upbringing. I had it all, but there was a couple of things that went on when I was in mum's womb that really put me on in my growth stage of the unconscious before I was born is don't belong. And also when mum and dad, when we kind of, I guess, between the age of 5 to 10 or whatever, they'd argue a lot. So I'd have to go lock myself in the bedroom and just to get away from it because I didn't like it. That was fine with me. Everything was beautiful, but there was a lot of pain there between the two of them that they're going through. And obviously I just didn't want to be in that environment. So I put up a belief I don't belong. Otherwise, why would mum and dad fight? Another belief, obviously, you can be put up as a child. You know, if mum drops you off at daycare centre every day, and you're really drawn to having that tight, close connection with mum, but all of a sudden she's dropping you off 5 days a week because she's got to go to work. You can put up a strong sabotaging belief that you're not good enough. Why else would mum drop me off? I'm clearly not good enough. You know, so a lot of times mums and dads don't realize they're doing these sabotaging beliefs, and it's part of our journey on the planet, because without this massive belief, I wouldn't be able to tell my story and be where I am now. So it's still very powerful, and there's zero regrets around it. But it's very, very powerful how all these sabotaging, limiting beliefs as a child, especially between the ages 0 and 7, we can have in our field that stops us creating. Oh, there is no option to go to everyone. Okay, right, we'll look into that. I'll get my admin to look into that one. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So no questions there at all. Lots of comments, which is great. Okay, so what I'd like for everybody to do is to think about a desired reality. I want you to choose something you've struggled to create, something that's actually really difficult to create. And when this comes up for you, I want you to pick us the biggest thing in here that you have the most resistance to creating. It might be creating $20,000 a month. It might be finding the right partner. It might be being the best dad you can be, and what does that mean to you? Whatever it may be, I want you all to think about a beautiful desired reality and just write that down there for me on a piece of paper. And then we're just going to step into it and enjoy it. Thanks, Kerry. You're awesome too. You're all awesome. You're all awesome, one, because you're here, and two, because you know that we can have more in life. We know that we can get into flowing. We just got to focus on it, take action, and remove resistance. And the beautiful thing about it, this modality, is you can, like I mentioned at the beginning, for those that came in late, you can do this resistance in 5 to 10 minutes. It's very, very powerful. In the masterclass, we have lots of recordings of the recodes and other processes, and I'm in there every week listening to the recording when I'm creating new and big things, like doing the preview event. You know, I did some recodes around this to make sure that I could just be me. I did some live calls for those of you seen it this morning. So doing live calls has always been a big resistance for me. And I just went this morning and did them because it was easy, just took the action. So it doesn't really matter what it is that you want to create and do in this world. You simply focus on it, step into it, take action, and use modality, recodes, whatever you choose to remove the resistance, which is really cool. So if everyone wants to write down what their desired reality is, just give me a 1 in the chat once you've chosen and got something, a desired reality, something that's, you know, just want to make sure that they're really getting something that's hard to create, really, really difficult, something that's really in the way. Because the bigger the resistance, the bigger the desired reality, then the more resistance is in the way, and the more you're going to clear today, and the more bigger shift you're going to have, which is pretty powerful. Now, just to remind everybody again that when we go through the recode, that's excellent. Thanks, guys. When we step into being a desired reality and we have that resistance, when we do the recode, just remember we're only removing the emotions and feelings off the memory. The memory then becomes wisdom, which is really powerful. So like the little girl, the 6-year-old girl, if she had the recode in the session at 26 and remove that resistance of the fear of public speaking, it then becomes wisdom. And what I mean by that is that before she goes on stage in her 20s, once she's removed it, she'll probably on the stage, walking to the stage, she'll check the floor. She'll probably turn up 5 minutes earlier and go on stage and say to get everybody and look around and make sure the speakers and lighting's right. It becomes wisdom, which is so powerful. And that's what I love about this work, is when we're working with everything from wisdom, it even makes everything easier, which is really cool. Awesome. So I've had heaps of ones there. It's excellent. So what I want to do now is we're just going to get the step 3, which is going to get a whole lot of emotional clarity around our desired reality. So what I'd like everybody to do is to step into their desired reality. Just take a couple of breaths, breathing in the nose and out the mouth, nice and relaxed. Make sure you don't have your arms and legs crossed. I can sense there's a couple of legs crossed there. So we want to be totally centered and just totally relaxed. And now I want you to close your eyes and step into this desired reality. I want you to step into it, whatever it means to you. Step into this desired reality that you choose. And if you're not 100% too sure on what you want to choose there, if there's anyone that's not, you could simply choose living a life you love, just loving it all just because you love it. So step into your desired reality, what it means to you. Where are you? Who are you with? Really allow the pictures and the feelings and the emotions to really step into this desired reality. See what you can see. What can you hear? What can you feel? What can you smell? If you're down at the beach, can you hear the waves and smell the seaweed and hear the people laughing and at their picnics or whatever, going for a swim? Really step in this desired reality of a successful online business, creating wealth, creating money. What are you doing with the money? Where are you? What's the true end result of the income? If it's love and relationships with your family or your partner, what are the family doing? Are you traveling? Really step into the beautiful end result of that feeling, and just step into the moment and just acknowledge that you're creating it and loving it. Good. And now I want you to times all that beautiful feeling emotions by 10, times them by 20, times them by 50. Have the beautiful desired reality of living a life you love and whatever that means to you, having it all. And then when you're ready, open up your eyes and come on back. How was that? Give me a 1 if that was fun. 1 in the chat box. Excellent. So cool. So that is our desired reality. That is choosing a life we love. And just notice how powerful and how much fun and exciting that was, just being in there. That was so cool, because when we choose to live a life we love, it's a beautiful, loving and natural emotion and feeling around it, which is pretty cool. He didn't want to come back. Yeah. So that's our desired reality. Now what I want you to do is to think about your current reality. What's it like now? Just step into your current reality and think, what's it like now? What is it like now? And then think about the beliefs or the emotions that are in the way. Do you have a don't belong, not good enough, not capable, the fear of success, the fear of failure? Just notice what you notice and see what emotions are in the way. And I want you to think about these emotions and put them in the chat if you want to, write them down. It might be that you have control issues, that you've always wanted everything to be right, be perfect. It might be that you worry what the family will say. What if I create this success? What will my family say? It might be that you struggle to hold relationships or love. What's in the way around that? Just really notice that resistance, everything that's in the middle. Cool. Good. So now we can look at the desired reality and a current reality, worried about judgment, beautiful. And we can see the structural tension. To have our desired reality, I want to go to it, but the old identity is pulling me back. So I'm trying to get this pulling me back. So that's the structural tension. That's the tension that we experience in life when we want to create. So what we're basically here, we're going to step in the recode. We're going to do the process again very, very shortly. And then you're going to experience your recode for the first time for some of you, for others, maybe a few times. And you'll get some shifts and some wins. And afterwards, just remember, we have to write the list and take action. I can answer any questions you've got, and we can go from there. Just a couple of times, yeah. It is addictive, isn't it, Kiri? Cool. Okay, so actually, just before we start, just to do a quick metaphor. This process, and this is just to educate you, conscious and unconscious. This metaphor is like a sports field. So at the moment, we're at one end of the sports field. We'll call it a soccer field or rugby field. And we're wanting to go to the other side. Our desired reality is the goals at the other end of the field. And we're looking down at the field, and all of a sudden, all these gophers dig holes and potholes and create mounds of dirt in our sports field. And we're looking down at the field, we've got these holes and piles of dirt. Those holes and piles of dirt is our resistance to getting to our desired reality, getting to the end of the field. This recode, the process we're going to do now, simply fills in all those holes, smooths them over with a feather, enables us to take more action and have less resistance. Cool. So close your eyes and let's make a start. So what I'd like you to do is just make a start and just step into your desired reality. Just choose it. I am it. Just be it before you see it. Be it and notice the feeling and emotion around it. Go back to the feeling of the sounds. What can you see? What can you smell? This end result, desired reality, this end result. Really step into it. That's it. And then I want you all just to say out loud or say it in your heart, just will it, that I give permission for Greg to access my superconscious. If it's the first time, and you can say it out loud because it's really good to hear it for those first few times. If you've done recodes before, just will it in your heart. And that true desired reality. Superconscious, are you there? Yes. Cool, excellent. Just take a couple of breaths with your eyes closed, taking a couple of breaths and really step into that desired reality. And just set the intention to get the most out of this process today. It's completely natural, and just to remind your unconscious that when we remove the feelings and emotions of the memories, no parts die. You simply gain wisdom. So you're able to have more satisfaction and less pain in choosing anything you want. And superconscious, can I please talk to the identities that are in the way, please? The beliefs and emotions in the way, please, of creating this true end result. Superconscious, can you please treat do not belong, not worthy, not capable, please, insignificant, and not perfect? Can you please treat all beliefs in perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history? Superconscious, do you see why this decision is a true choice we've chosen today and why it's so important? Cool. Everybody's on board. Excellent. Awesome. Cool. Now I want everybody just to notice what you notice. I just want you to notice and just relax and step into it. Take another couple of breaths. And superconscious, I'd like you to bring the resistance down. Actually, that's what I forgot to do. I just want everybody just to have a listen to my voice. And we're just going to pick a number between 1 and 10. 10 is it's very hard to create the resistance to this desired reality. 0 is it's very easy. There's no resistance. So 10 is it's very hard to create this desired reality. And 0 is I'm living it now. So if you're anywhere like a 0 and 1, obviously you probably want to choose a different end choice because it's very easy to create 0 and 1. So I'm guessing you've all got probably between the numbers between 6, 7, 8 or 9, maybe a 10 in resistance. Just make an intention of that number, and then we can put that to the side and we'll come back to that later. So superconscious, I'd like you to set the intention to bring all resistance down as close as possible to a 0. So it's easy to take action. Thank you. Good. Take another couple of breaths. Just really step into this beautiful end choice, this desired reality, the life that you love, what it means to you, money, success, relationships, family. Superconscious, can you please create the perfect treatment plan, please? Bring up all resistance to this true end choice. Thank you. Superconscious, can you please treat all feminine and masculine beliefs, please? Please treat all beliefs to this true end choice. Again, not good enough, not capable, don't belong, not worthy. Treat it all in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Superconscious, can you please notice the resistance that's here today? And what I want you to do is, as where you are sitting now, I want you to go up out of your body, looking down at your body, and I want you to go back in time. I want you to go all the way back in time to when you're a child. Go all the way back to a memory where you put limitations on what you could succeedly do. Go all the way back into a time where if you have a memory, you may not see the memory or know the memory is, you just have to know that it's there. Go all the way back to a child. The age of 3, 4, and 5 is coming up. 2. That's it. Go all the way back to the first memory when you pinned up that limitation was an option in creating anything that you choose. A limitation on anything. Go all the way back to that memory. And just before that memory now, I want you to create a new memory. A new memory just before the old one that's more positive, that's more happy. A positive memory before the negative memory. The negative memory of any limitation holding you back. And this beautiful new memory just before the old one, I want you to plant it down in there, push it down in there, that's it. But this new memory in front of the old memory, this new memory of joy, of happiness, of motivation, of positiveness, being able to create anything you choose. That's it. Push it in there, plant it in there. Just before the old one, that's it. Get it right in there. Good. And now looking down at this new memory, I want you to turn around and look back to your timeline to now and notice how things have changed. Notice how things are different. And coming up, I want you to come up through the years now as a child, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12. And as you're going through these years, notice how things are different. Notice how things have changed. 13, 15, 20, in your 20s. Notice how things are different. And now come all the way back to now, looking down at yourself, come back into your body. Take a breath and now look to your future and notice how things are changed. Superconscious, please do a massive change history. Thank you. Good. Just sit on that one for a little bit. Superconscious, can you please treat all the resistance in alignment with desire, please? Please treat in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Superconscious, can you please treat all beliefs, please? Judgment from others, fear of failure or success. The world is too difficult, any way or form. Don't belong, not capable, not worthy, not perfect, insignificant. Please treat it all in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Can you also please treat definitions? Treat in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Please treat all family history too, please. On your mother's side, 5 years. On your father's side, 7 years. Please treat it all in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. For some of you, there's a number 7 popped up in the field as resistance. Could be the age of 7 or 7 about something. Can you please treat that in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Subconscious, can you also please treat all part personalities? Protector, controller, and a child. All part personalities, please. Treat in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Good. Everybody, you're doing well. Superconscious, can you please also treat all events from the past, current, and future, thank you, and do a massive change history. Also, any broken agreements from the past, from others, and also any events, any broken promises, any events in the future, please. Treat it all in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Superconscious, can you please treat all body systems? Please treat lower chakra, creation chakra, heart chakra, adrenaline chakra, front and back, please. Also, please treat heart chakra, throat chakra, being able to talk and speak more. Feel the love for communities. Your upper heart chakra, upper head chakras, all chakras, please. Treat it the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Superconscious, please treat all organs, please. Blood flow, muscle groups, skin, shoulders, neck. All body systems, please. Treat it the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Also, please treat all body systems. Any other body systems, please. All resistance in the body systems. On knees, legs, please. Treat it in the perfect way, in the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Good. Superconscious, please treat secondary intentions. 2, please. Treat in the perfect way, the perfect order, and do a massive change history. Superconscious, please, in the judgment of others judging you, can you please treat that resistance? I'm going to do a sentence procedure with you now. I want you to notice any resistance that comes up that's not true and treat it, please. I'm allowed to have my desired reality. Having my desired reality is easy for me. I am my desired reality, whatever that means to you. Superconscious, please treat all resistance to these true sentences, please. Treat it into a massive change history. Thank you. Good. The superconscious, can you please ground all the memories we've touched today and reconnect everything back in the matrix of the universe, including memories 1, 2, and 3. Please, all other memories, ego states, tandems, shadow memories, levels of philosophy, past lives, tandem lives, all aspects of consciousness, please. Ground all the memories, thank you. And now I'm going to step into this desired reality, this beautiful way of being. I want you to experience what actions you want to take. Step into it. Notice the actions. What actions do I take to have more of my desired reality? Step into them. Notice how it feels. And I want you to notice all the actions you're going to take. That's it. Notice what comes up through love and light of all things to this beautiful desired reality, this end creation that you love. Notice all the beautiful actions. That's it. And then when you're ready, take a couple of breaths, open up your eyes, twiddle your toes, come on back and write down those actions on that pen and paper. Excellent. And then when you get a chance, I'll thank you, Kira. You've got resistance from 10 to 3 down there. That's fantastic. But now I just want you to think about that resistance number. You've come back, you've gone from whatever your number you were beforehand and what resistance number you are now. So you would have been, still on the way to 10 somewhere and then somewhere down the other end of the scale. And that just shows us consciously how much of a shift we've had. You also might have experienced some twitching of bits and pieces and some energy release. That's all completely normal. That's actually the energy around the feeling and emotion leaving your body. Beautiful thing is, it's gone, it doesn't come back. Cool, so yeah, put your score numbers in there if you want to. And then I'm more than happy to answer any questions. You can unmute if you want and come on out with a question, or you can put it in the chat. What I'll do is I'll stop the recording now and we can have a chat.